What's happening, guys? Welcome back to another review. We're diving back into Hop Butcher, one of the best in the game to do the New England style. Let's check it out, guys. It's Lord Octopus, a Mosaic-Hopped double India Pale Ale, clocking in at 7.5%, the standard that we see from Hop Butcher. They call it a double. I think it's a little bit less than a double, but I prefer it to be under the 8% mark for being in this category. Otherwise, it gets a little bit too cloyingly sweet, or it gets a little bit too much for your palate, or at least mine. It ends up being just too oversaturating on the palate. So I like these less than 8% beers, especially coming from Hop Butcher and Arvon, because balance, they nail it. So will this be the same story from Hop Butcher, Lord Octopus? We're going to dive in. This is canned on 5/2/23. Today is May 17th, time of recording. So guys, it's like 2 weeks old, a little bit more. Big deal. Still pretty darn fresh coming from Chicago. Let's check this sucker out, which is exclusively Mosaic-Hopped. I like Mosaic hops, but I also do like the different types that they integrate together. The last one was awesome. The Pizza Puff. I freaking love that beer. One of my favorites in a long time. Let's see if this Mosaic-Hopped beer can live up to that standard. Let's check it out. Hope you guys are doing well. I have the day off. I'm relaxing. Feels good. Feels really good to relax and do beer reviews with you guys. So as I'm pouring, it's the standard. I can't go on and on about it, guys. It's the dark OJ. It's the slightly Boss Tweed M43 looking beer. Those of you in Michigan, you understand what I'm saying. It is so hazy. Look at this. So hazy. It's actually darker than the Pizza Puff I just had. It's got that like shade of orange in there that's just a little bit darker. That honey orange caramel that it is just beautiful. I can't say much about it, guys. You see it. It's an excellent looking double New England style. I poured aggressively. It's got a big head. Very dense head. But let's see if I can get an aroma through that thick, dense head. Let's check it out. So, dank, earthy notes. Again, I feel like Hop Butcher has this very often. It's no different today, but sometimes that Mosaic brings a different type of dankness, and it's bringing that berry, almost like citrusy, tropical, earthy, dank note that just radiates in your nose, and it usually does on the palate as well. The dankness is piercing on this one. It's very hoppy. It's got pine resin in it. It's got this like orange marmalade kind of thing. This candied orange, candied grapefruit, which I did get on the Pizza Puff. But this one a little bit more dank, acquiring those Mosaic notes there. Very candied. Again, it's nice that Hop Butcher can have these juicy candied notes, yet still be so dry and bitter on the back end. I'm going to hope that today it's still dry and bitter, because that's what my palate prefers. Let's see if there's one other thing I can get, or two. Yeah, mangoes. Almost like a strawberry note in here. I mean, it's the Mosaic playing with my nose a little bit. It gives me that strawberry, seedy kind of berry vibe. It's in there. Maybe a little peaches, apricots, probably some honeydew. So let's dive in, guys. It's Hop Butcher. It is Lord Octopus. I've never had this one. Let's check it out. Cheers. So, right off the bat, sweeter than I like. It isn't as piney and bitter on the back end as the Pizza Puff was. I feel like that was a more well-balanced beer off first impressions. This one has got more of that cloyingly sweet description and feel to it. It lingers on the back end. Yes, there is bitterness. There's a little bit of this doughy, malty complex through the middle. That honey sweetness comes through, and I think that's the best way to put it. There is like a honey or honeycomb sweetness through the middle that does still play a role on the back end. That overripe honeydew is abundant. There's apricots in here. There's dank melon / strawberry, and there's a little bit of that mango tropical thing in there as well. Let's go back in. More dankness than medicinal marijuana. That vibe's coming through, and it's got that just saturated wet honeycomb, wet pine cone, the hop forwardness is there. It tries to dry out on the back end. I just don't think it completely does dry out the way I wanted, like the Pizza Puff beer did. This one hangs on a little bit too sweet on the back end. Like the balance just isn't quite in line with some of the other Hop Butcher beers that I've had. We're being picky today. That's what I am, though, with Hop Butcher and Arvon and anybody that I really admire or respect, because we're splitting hairs at the end of the day. You guys make world-class stuff. I have to try to critique you, and compared to some of the other beers from Hop Butcher, this one actually isn't my favorite, if you will, compared to some of the others. Brutal honesty. Still a really good beer. A little bit of orange, maybe some wet grapefruit, a little bit of lemon. You've got, again, apricots, honeydew, this nice strawberry note that comes out with the Mosaic, and again, the dankness very piercing on this beer. And I would prefer that sweetness does dry out a little bit more on the back end, yet this one stays a little bit more sweet than I typically enjoy on my New England styles. Splitting hairs, but again, a little bit too sweet, does not dry out as much as I'd like. I want a little bit more bitterness as well. It's there. It's just not dialed in the way I like with this single Mosaic note here, guys. Still a damn good beer. As for rating, today, one more time. One more time. Okay. I'm going to go with 4 out of 5. It's one of the lower rated Hop Butcher beers I've had. Maybe Mosaic isn't as awesome as maybe I used to think. But again, the balance a little bit off for me. We're talking about world-class stuff from Hop Butcher. This one's a little bit less than what I like to see from them. So that's just splitting hairs, guys. 4 out of 5 for the Lord Octopus. Don't hate me for it. I'm being honest. It is what it is. Still a great rating from Hop Butcher. Love these guys. We'll keep the good times rolling. I'm Dan. I'm over and out. Catch you guys on the next review. Cheers.